Oh, yeah.
Hi. Hello. Hi. Bye. I don't know why I was dancing. Are you recording? Yeah. Okay.
Hello, my name is Takunda Chimutashu, also known as ZenTheMaster. And early this year, I decided to go on a countrywide trip to meet as many artists as I could and make as many cinematic shorts as I could, showcasing and exhibiting their skills, talents, and abilities. And it went pretty well.
Hi, so my name is Tayte-Tait, but also known as Marufu, and I'm a digital content creator, a producer, a feminist, an author. I also call myself the digital goddess, because why not? I mean, but so this year it's been an insane roller coaster. I mean, we started working together years ago when we did No Filter, and basically we're just like, we would love to have like women talking about our own issues on our own platform, because other countries have that, but like we didn't have that at that time. So we're like, let's just work together. And since then we've taken the crazy undertaking of literally going around Zimbabwe and like hopefully to other places as well, and just seeing the creative spaces, meeting different artists, and getting to be a part of something like that, like working with different organizations too, has been the most phenomenal experience ever. It's life-changing, and it also just makes you realize how deep the artistic landscape in Zimbabwe is.
So the basic idea of being an artist in Zimbabwe is people are going to look at you and assume that you're not going to make it. And I figured one of the biggest reasons for that is a severe lack of exposure. And a lot of artists actually agreed with me. That's actually a consensus that was reached with a lot of the artists that I met on this trip. All over the country, you find a lot of artists are making it very clear that they want the world to see their art, that they want to be seen, and that they understand the fact that the more eyes that they have on their art, the more fans they have, basically, the more fans they can earn, then the better the chances that they'll be able to make a living out of their art. So yeah, this collaborative effort was absolutely necessary, and I see myself doing things like this a lot more in the future. The first stop was Goromonzi, where I met up with an artist named Cheers in the Soil. And at this point, things were still a bit experimental, because I was still trying to figure out the format of what it was that we were going to be doing. So what happened was I went to his farm in Goromonzi, their farm in Goromonzi, and I spent about 3 days there. Basically trying to get a feel of the place, trying to get a feel of the artist himself, and an understanding of what it is that he represents and what he's trying to showcase to the world before I just jumped in and decided to do this thing. We're both pretty new at this, pretty fresh at this, so yeah, we actually hung out for a while. I made a whole vlog episode about us hanging out, and he shared his philosophies with me, his ideas and ideals, the things that he holds close to himself. And being, in the environment where he lives, it really contributed to me understanding what kind of artist he is.
He was just like, I'm going to Goromonzi. He literally when he just woke up, he's taking his bag and he's going. He's like, we're gonna go shoot a cinematic short. And at the time, I had no idea what that was gonna look like. So I'm just like, I can't wait to see the end result, because when two amazing artists come together, it has to be great, right? And having been there in the process when we were working together in Digital Spaces Labs, I was expecting something amazing, and I was not disappointed one bit. And it really made me sit down and say, like, wow, there's something here, there's something that needs to be shown, there's something that needs to be really, I don't know the word, but like taken care of and nurtured and grown. And really, having been through all of the other things we're going to talk about, has really shown me how that talent has been nurtured and how it has grown. And it's really been amazing to see.
We made a short poetry video because Tears in the Soil's specialty is poetry. And he does a lot of love poetry. So him being a farmer, something that he's had to do is go hunting with a rifle. And he has a firm understanding of like the wild and the ideas, the idea of living off of the land. It's something that's really special to him. So I decided to marry those two concepts. And Tears himself sort of presents to me like a classic man, like a man of the past, which married perfectly with my style of filmmaking. So we made this sort of rustic Western feeling short film, and to date it is genuinely one of my favorite pieces. It's called A Shot in the Dark. I mean, it came out beautifully. It captured him perfectly. Every time I watch it, I feel like I'm with him again. It's a beautiful piece, and it also showcases Goromonzi. It sort of takes me back to that location. So that's where the idea of, okay, yes, I'm traveling and meeting artists, but certain things matter when meeting artists, right? Obviously, getting to know the artists themselves and getting a feel for them. I call it getting their vibe. Then there is the location itself, because the place that you live influences the person that you become, and the person that you become influences the art that you create. So if I'm going to be doing this collaborative efforts type of thing, then that means I need to understand the artist, understand where they're from, and get a feel really for who they are, in a wholesome sense. And that's what we started to do.
Murewa was another crazy story. We were doing some work for Simba Arts, and we were supposed to be shooting a different music artist. And then, well, that's another story, but we ended up not shooting that artist. And just that morning, we're told, you're gonna meet this artist, you're gonna do sort of like an interview, he's gonna play some music. And I remember on the way just thinking, let him be good, like just Lord, like let him be good, because that whole embarrassing thing you feel in your soul when you have to act like something is good, and then you have to come up with something to say, right? And he starts playing, and I was so relieved, and just I was like, wow.
You took me down to the redwood forest. You're bad. You got me feeling your fire, I'm feeling your fire.
I was like, wow. This is the talent we need to be showcasing more of in Zimbabwe. And just from that one meeting, just from that one job, right, we just kept on talking. We're like, we have to work together again. We have to do something else. And he graciously invites us to his house with his parents, the farm, who are amazing people. They've really built this great just this great family and this great farm and this great business around it. And I'm very passionate about telling women's stories. So like while we were there, I was like, I want to interview the mom. I want to talk to you like about what you're doing. She's running catering business from the farm. She has been invited outside of the country to represent Zimbabwe because of how much they were growing, because of all of these things that we're doing. And it really just gave me this idea that like we've got so much, just not like creative energy in Zimbabwe, but just so much talent in other things, right? So many things that we're doing that are not being showcased.
Murewa came as sort of like a little unplanned surprise, but we went there with an artist named Zoa, and we got to live with him and his family while we were in Murewa, and we got to look around, go hiking, again, get a feel of the place, get an understanding of what Murewa really is. And he had a very deep understanding of the history of the place. So, you know, the vibe and feel that I was starting to get from him was, you know, again, he's like this man of nature. He's like he calls himself a griot. Because he really loves where he's from, he also sort of looked around and found other artists. So Zoa is a musician, but he found two sculptors, namely Muvezwa, and, well, it's technically three sculptors. There's Muvezwa, and then there was Makono and Jeffius.
My favorite artists, right? Like we get there, and they're just using like old buckets and bottles and like anything that you can think of, and you would be like, that is trash, right? They're using this as art. And immediately I'm just like, you should be on some poster, right? Talking about the importance of the environment, taking care of the environment. The fact that nothing has to be waste, that everything can be recycled and made into something different that you could use, and made into something different that you can be able to look at. And that would save our environment. That would mean there's less things being thrown away, less waste being deposited into the sea, right? And no one really gets to really like, you know, shoot this. No one gets to do these interviews, and I think there needs to be more of that work because it's just so amazing. And I really sat there and I thought, like, how many more people like him exist that I would never have known about?
Those video was fairly easy. We shot that very quickly. But then for the sculptors, that took a little bit of doing. I had to employ a whole lot of like histrionics and you know, all of these methods of making it look as amazing as it was making me feel in the moment. So, you know, with Muvezwa, we went to his compound and we saw so much art. He sort of recycles, you know, old and discarded items and then recreates them and gives them new life and makes these beautiful mixed art sculptures. It was amazing to behold, and you know, just getting to sit down with him and hear his experiences, his travels, and the things that he's done. It was an absolutely fantastic experience. And then of course there was Mkona and JS who had a mentor-mentee relationship, and watching art being passed on as legacy really inspired me. And we, you know, I came up with a few like shots, because we didn't have a lot of equipment to do what we wanted to do. So I had to come up with very creative shots. You know, there's a shot using a lace curtain, which is my favorite out of all the shots. It's sort of like a tracking shot, you know, and we are watching Makono giving Jeffius a sculpture as a symbol of the legacy that they embody of the passing on of art from one person to another.
We went around and saw the rest of Murewa. We like went climbing on a mountain, and that was fun. We were joined by Fafi, who also, when I met her and Zoa kept telling me about all these great things she was doing, I was like, I have to interview her. And I think that's the beauty of this creative landscape in Zimbabwe, and just how one thing really turned into this journey, really turned into us meeting all of these amazing artists, amazing people doing amazing things in this country, and how they are shaping the country in their own corners, how they're motivating other people. And just Mukono had his own apprentice, his own person that he's literally teaching his art, and that is a way that art continues to grow. And I think that is so important, and we need to nurture that more. We need to showcase it. We need to talk about it.
Do you hear the birds? That's the call of the wild.
Mutare. Oh.
Mutare.
We embarked on a long journey and we went to Mutare, where we met with quite a few artists. We met with everything from poets to musicians to actors and dancers. And I have to say, that I feel like was the first time that my vibe detection abilities were really tested. With Mutare, because our schedule was becoming really, really tight with the festival, we almost had to, catch the vibe on the fly, because we didn't have as much time to prepare these artists for the camera as we usually had, and we didn't have as much time ourselves to prepare. So collaboration was going to be extremely important.
When we first started doing these videos, and we will talk more about them in the other episodes, we're going to do 25 videos of influences, we're going to do 25 videos of art, and then it turned into more and more. I was also I was doing this writing workshop with Akina Mama, and I was doing a fellowship with Muyani Dij, creating content as well, and I was just so overwhelmed, right? Because we say productivity, and then I just broke. So by the time we get to Mutare, I just don't have any more energy. I just don't have any more life in me. I can barely look at my texts. I can barely look at my phone. I can barely do anything because I am exhausted. I'm just mentally exhausted. And Mutare, on the first day, we actually took a walk, right? And this had nothing to do with the art. And I remember just looking out and realizing I had started to lose that ability of seeing these cities, these places, and just enjoying it and just falling in love with Zimbabwe, right? Because this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to fall in love with Zimbabwe and its artists and its people. And that walk really told me you need to rest, you need to relax.
I have to commend the entire team, us at Visual Sensations, for genuinely pulling out all the stops and doing the things, because it very easily could have gone very wrong, but we pulled out all the stops and actually pulled it off. And the artists themselves, my word, they really came for it. They understood what was going on, they knew their responsibilities, they were very professional, and they really went for it. I remember this young lady who sang a song. I think she was the only musician that end. She recorded her song, and then we shot the music video for said song on the same day. So, you can imagine how much pressure that was on her, but she took it so gracefully. The entire time, she was so casual, she was making jokes, but at the same time, very professional, very efficient, did not drop a single, minute, unnecessary minute. She just came with it. She shared her concept with us. She shared her vibe with us. She was very open because she understood, how tight our schedule was. So she just came with it and gave it her all, and it shows in the video that we ended up getting. And her video required us to go around the community and sort of get footage of people, all around the place. And that, I'll admit, was a bit difficult because it meant just walking up to strangers and asking them if they're willing to be part of a music video. And surprisingly, the people of Mutare were extremely gracious. They were happy to help. They were happy to feature. They were curious about what we were doing. And as soon as we told them, they had so many ideas that they had. They had so many contributions that they wanted to do. I remember meeting this man by a shopping center. And I just approached him because he had an interesting look. He was wearing these glasses. And I just said, hey, would you be open to featuring in a music video? He said, a music video? What kind of music? Then we told him what kind of music. We told him that we're working with Let Them and such. And he said, I'm a musician. Would you like to see me play something? Would that fit into your music video? And I said, absolutely. That would be fantastic. And, we shot him. And that is sort of like a perfect example of all of the experiences we had meeting people in Mutare. I don't think we got a single no. Everybody was just yes, yes, yes. The ladies who were selling wares by the flea market, yes, absolutely. These young gentlemen who were just hanging out by the roadside, yes, I'm in, let's do it. Everybody was very happy, very hyper, very energetic, and they wanted in.
I think I only joined the one poet, and we were in this beautiful mountainside, and there was like wind, and I think that's the amazing thing about Mutare, right? Because then I could just enjoy it, and I don't know what it would have been like going through that depressive phase where we're still supposed to work. And just shout out to Zen and shout out to the team for taking up that mantle when I couldn't, and continuing to produce and continuing to create even when I couldn't anymore, when I just needed to rest. And really, I think that's the other thing as artists. Sometimes we focus a lot on producing, on being productive, on how much output are we putting out there, that we forget to take care of ourselves. And that was my experience with Mutare. Starting to realize that I was important too, and I needed to take care of myself.